What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get extra stroke length while rowing through one simple stretch. Now, it's no secret that taller people, the longer that your body frame is, the more leverage you have in rowing, and therefore the more power that you can generate. Now, this doesn't mean that all tall people are really good rowers, and it also doesn't mean that all shorter people are bad rowers. You look at teams across the world, and tall individuals and shorter individuals can all perform at a high intensity. But regardless of your height, we want to try to maximize our stroke length and our stroke efficiency to get the most out of our rowing. Now, one issue that a lot of people run into is this idea of inflexible ankles, and the fact that when you come up for a stroke that your heels tend to get a really high lift off of the foot plates. Now, the argument of whether your heels need to stay planted on the foot plates at all times or raise up a little bit as you take the stroke, that argument's still up for debate. But if our heels come up to a super high extent, to the point where we can't even get full compression, a nice full reach with our rowing stroke, that's hindering your rowing performance. Now, when people say tight ankles, you might be like, oh yeah, like, stretch the ankles. It's kind of one of those things where, like, how do you stretch your ankles? What does that mean? Well, in the terms of rowing, tight ankles and this idea of our heels coming up really high, preventing us from taking full strokes, has to do with the tightness in our calf muscles. So when it comes to a muscle being tight, the general idea with a tight muscle is that when you use that muscle a lot, when you're constantly contracting the muscle and not taking time to stretch it, to re-lengthen the muscle back out, a tight muscle tends to favor to be in that contracted position. And when we think of our calf muscles in this case, well, first off, we use our calves for literally our movement. We're always using them. Every step that we take, we are using our calf muscles, because the main action of those muscles is to plantar flex our toes, which is basically point them downward. We do that with every step we take. And if we're not taking the time to stretch our calves out on a regular basis, well then, like I mentioned before, our calves are going to have a tendency to stay in that plantar flex position. And what that translates to with rowing, if we're taking a stroke and our calves are tight, our calves are going to want to raise up, and from here actually prevent us from getting a nice full range of motion. Where if our calves were looser, less tight, we'd be able to, maybe still get some heel raise off the foot plates, but get a lot better reach in the front end of our strokes. So, what do we do to adjust this? We need to stretch out our calves more often. And we can do this through a couple simple stretches. Depending on your preference, you can do this stretch on the ground where we drive one heel down towards the ground while bending the other knee, holding this stretch for a few seconds, and then alternating legs. My personal favorite, though, which mimics very closely to the rowing motion, is putting your foot up close to a wall and then leaning in towards that foot. You're going to feel an instant stretch in the back of your calf. And if this feels like really good, we're talking like, oh my God, best stretch ever kind of good, that means your calves are probably tight. Honestly, guys, calves are tight on everybody. Like I mentioned, we use them for literally our movement as humans. We're constantly using these muscles all the time, and if we're not taking the time to stretch them out, they're going to be tight, and it's going to prevent us from getting a full stroke, really utilizing our height, whatever that may be, to our fullest potential. So my recommendation is take some time, a couple times a day, to stretch out your calves. Okay, my favorite time to do it is after a workout, whether it's a rowing workout or some other workout, but also right before bed as well. You do this a couple times a day, even for a week. You do it for a week, you're going to notice huge changes in not only how your feet and ankles feel, but also in your stroke length as well. So guys, that's just a short little tip on how to get a slight increase in your range of motion while rowing, while also treating your calves and ankles the way they need to be treated. with respect. Because we use them all the time, be sure to stretch them out and notice how that feels when you're taking the rowing stroke. See if you can feel a little change in your compression and feeling less limited by ankles, by heels raising up towards the air as you come up. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. As always, if you enjoyed, leave a like and let me know what you think down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.